Did we just silently add an hour to the standard workday or what? Growing up, the standard workday was always described as 95. Hell, there's even a song about it. 9 to 5. That's the workday. The last 5 years or so though, I've been hearing more and more people say 85 instead. My mom asked me if those were my working hours once and I was like, WTF, no, it's 95. Even my wife now starts work at 8 a.m. and her reasoning is that she takes an hour for lunch, so if she worked 95 it wouldn't be a full 8-hour workday. What the hell is going on? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Up until the late 80s, early 90s, an 8-hour shift with a paid lunch was the norm. Once companies decided to stop paying for lunch breaks, people started working 9-hour shifts with unpaid lunch breaks. Then you add on a commute and work takes up your whole day. Technically my workday is 8:30 to 5, with an unpaid 30 minutes for lunch. I, however, completely ignore this and work 9-4:30 instead. And so far no one has called me on it. To be fair, I don't call out my coworkers for the exact same thing. We're all playing fast and loose with the hours. Oh boy, yes. An 8 to 5 schedule hits differently. It's a lot more tiring. It's because they can say, oh well, you've got a lunch hour or half an hour and 15, which doesn't come out of your workday. So we're actually scheduling you for 8 hours, whereas in the past 9 to 5 was your workday, including your breaks. Nah, I'm with you. I have so many friends say they have to work an 85 to meet their 8-hour workday requirements. And I'm like, my hour lunch is included in my schedule? I don't have to work an additional hour to make it up. It's one thing if it's the choice of the person, but if it's required by the company, that's when it baffles me most. I only have to work 7.5-hour days and I swear that half hour makes a huge difference. I actually did the math and it means I work 17 less days a year. Yup, but it's been like more than 20 years, not 5. You're talking about a time when work weeks were 40 hours including a total of 60 minutes in lunch and breaks. Pensions were maintained and actually paid out to retired employees. And many employees spent decades or longer at a job. Oh, and you weren't expected to do anything outside of work because it was impossible to get in touch with anyone else except by landline telephone, and work was not done at home off the clock. It's amazing how Reagan and the Republicans were able to do in just a few short years in the 80s. Pretty much turned the economy over to the corporations and got rid of as many protections for workers as possible. Is that point? All that was left to do was allow corporate money into politics. That followed soon after. The opening of the Michael Moore film, Capitalism, a Love Story, recounts in a succinct and horrifyingly accurate way. Full film link below. Free with ads on YT. I am posting this link, but I'm sure you can find it without the ads. Edit. Link didn't work. My bad. Godspeed. L. I'm union and have always had paid lunch. Everyone should be paid for it. Yay. I'm technically not working, but I'm still away from my family at the place where I work and don't have time to even leave. I'm still away from home due to work obligations, and you should be compensated for that. So, I had a job for a while that was 8 to 305 with a paid hour lunch break. It was great. Then, they decided that we needed to come in at 8. And now we were only getting 30 minutes for lunch. Then, they tried to tell us we were getting a raise. When I did the math, I was effectively getting paid $1.50 less per hour because I went from working 35 hours to 40 hours. My boss Deda tried to tell me that you can't compare it like that. You need to compare 40 to 40. And you said, that makes no sense. Why would I compare 40 to 40 when I wasn't working 40 hours before? I was working 35. I should actually be getting more than this if you had maintained my hourly rate. Let's just say I didn't stay there more than 3 months after that. Some of us aren't that gullible. But, yes, they really did just add 1 hour to the workday and tried to pretend it wasn't anything abnormal. They did the same thing with pensions. Why do you think virtually no one gets a pension anymore? It's cheaper for organizations to contribute to a 401k. Do you know what didn't exist when boomers joined the workforce? 401 kiloseconds. And then they get mad at millennials and Gen Zers for being pissed off that we're getting scammed. It depends if you get paid lunch or not. If you do, then it's a standard 95. If you don't get one, then you gotta work 8 hours and take an unpaid lunch break. So it ends up becoming 85 or 96. Luckily I get a paid lunch and 2 paid breaks and my hours are indeed 95. I start at 9 and leave at 5. Paid lunches disappeared so the rich people at the top could pinch a few more pennies. Fun fact: Americans are forced to work more hours than any other country on earth too. Edit. Most in the industrialized world. Been a minute since I looked it up. I'm 95 to 30, because otherwise I wouldn't get a full 8. Company doesn't pay me for lunch, sadly. I've always worked 85 ever since my first grown-up job 20 years ago. Same! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I hate it. That's the creep that happens without strong union protections. Unions are how we got the 40-hour week in the first place. There's a reason corporations are so rabidly anti-union. I've been in the workforce since the 80s. Word from the wise: if you're paid based on an 8-hour day, every minute you work beyond that devalues you. Read that again. 1. If you are paid $20 per hour, hired for 8 hours per day and work 12-hour days, you're only making $15 per hour. 2. Killing yourself does not make a business case to hire the right number of people to do your job. 3. Being short-staffed is not your problem. It's your employer's. 4. If you break down or can't do your job, your employer will have someone else doing your job before the seat gets cold. That said, work hard and do a good job. Goche 100%. But work-life balance is important. You exchange 8 hours of your life for a salary. Not every waking minute. Hustling is dumb and just gets you burned out sooner. Been there. Done that. The only people who will be upset by you working and missing family time are your kids and spouse. Very few people get a paid lunch hour anymore. Hell, very few people get an hour for lunch. Most get 30 minutes unpaid.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.